Hi guys, not the video I wanted to make. I had other videos I just didn't get to upload yet. I was going to try to do one like at the end of the week, but if you read the title, you kind of know what's going on. So we had twins, and if you know, one of our girls had a lot of complications in the womb, and they saw that, and she ended up only living 2 hours, and a little bit longer than 2 hours, and it was really, it was a good moment, but we've had to process that grief. And then last week, 2 weeks after she had passed, we went back home and buried her, and had a service, and there was lots of support, and really, it was really incredible seeing all the support that we had. But her sister's doing really good. She's still in the NICU, and we're still up here in Kansas City. I'm not really sure how long that will be. They say give up to her due date. It's the middle of July right now. We're getting closer to the end of July. We're 3 weeks in. But our other baby, it could be the end of this month, it could be beginning of next month. Really could just depend. But yeah, it was a good, we were glad. We knew that in the natural that was most likely happening, but we knew that God is able to do all things, and we know that he chose not to change the situation, and we don't understand why, but we're just trusting him throughout it. It's hard, but I think in one of my other videos I mentioned this, but we named our girl Eliana, and we chose that name. I've always liked that name. I had a girl, sorry, there's gnats. It's ruining this this moment, and I'm not using this exercise equipment. Anyway, not the video for this, but so we named her Eliana. I'd always liked the name. I knew there was a girl in my class, she didn't ruin it, and I wasn't super great friends with her, so I was but I liked the name. And so when my wife said a similar name, we had already decided on the other twins' name, but when we found out there was two, we said, oh well, what names do we like? And she liked one name, and then I said, what about Eliana? And that was similar, and because she really liked Ellie, and I was like, Eliana, and she's like, yeah, I like that. And so we looked it up, and we found out it meant God answered. And we really were holding on to that for a while. We knew that there was complications even then, and so we were like, God's able to do. God's able to change the situation, and it was pretty. It kind of seemed like just as time went on, we kept finding out how more serious. Because part of the problem is she had scoliosis, and that was she had scoliosis. She had a thing called the omphalocele, and then because of the scoliosis, her lungs were too small, and so. And both of the girls were underweight, and so they were really they're concerned about both of them, kind of. They were pretty sure that our girl that's still here was going to make it, and they didn't feel too concerned, but they were really concerned about Eliana, and sadly she they tried what they could, but they said it's not going to work. So she only lived 2 hours. We got to hold her for probably the majority of those 2 hours, and after she passed, my family got to hold her. Her family, the ones that got here, were able to hold her, and so and then 2 weeks later we were able to bury her. And the service, it was emotional, but it was good, and but that we still are holding to that name, Eliana, in the sense that we don't know what the Lord's plan is. We don't know what's gonna come about from her life. We don't know. We know that she's a blessing to us, and already, and we know it's not that we only have one kid. It's that we have one kid here and we have one kid in heaven, and so we know there's gonna be a day that we'll meet her again. And we're looking forward to that day. And God, we do believe God answered the situation, because we said, that's one of the hardest prayers. People say this, it's hard to pray, but it's Lord, thy will to be done, you know, and you don't know what his will is when you pray that, and especially in a situation like this. And sometimes, you know, there's situations where the Lord will like give faith for healing, and there was different moments where I thought maybe, but then there was other moments where it was like I don't know, and I really just feel like the Lord was having us say, you know, trust me either way, you know that I can heal her, trust me either way. And so he chose, seems like he chose not to, and so we don't understand all of that, but we do know that she was loved, and even, you know, before she entered this earth, you know, she was a blessing to us. And I just remember, you know, different times where like it was like 2 days before, maybe 3, where like before they were born, I was just like, I was there by my wife's stomach, and it was Ellie up on top, and I just remember like her kicking up at me and like my head on her face, and so it was just, you know, we had moments as a 4-member family, you know, and we're looking forward to those days again. And I mean, we're 5 or 6, we have more kids, you know, but it's weird how you can feel peace in times like this. Yeah, it's just weird, especially like, but I do think we were blessed to know, it seems awkward, but we were blessed that we knew beforehand that, you know, in the natural this was what was likely. And I've heard cases of healing, I've heard cases of literal miracles, and so we were hoping that was the case. But and really, you know, like in my head, I know that the chances were probably 90% she's passing, 99% she's passing, but then in my head it felt like it was a 50-50, because I know that, you know, God's able, he's able to do it, and it might have been a long process, it might have been, but whatever. Point is, I mean, the point of this video is just to update you, just kind of what's happening. I don't know how people make it without the Lord. I mean, the truth is, I said that to somebody and they said they don't make it. You know, they might scrape by, but they're just trying to fake it till they make it. Because I don't know, because I know, I can't imagine a life without the Lord. Like, I don't think I can truly. Because there's just I don't see any peace in that life. And I know when I ran from the Lord, and even moments, you know, still, like, you try to get your will in, and I still that, like, so my mind, man, anyway, there's still moments where it's like, I try to do my will, and it's like, I am such a, like, I'm dumb, you know, it's like, just let the Lord have his way. The one more thing is, we named her Eliana, but Eliana Rose, and my former pastor, we had our current pastor, you know, do the ceremony, the graveside, and as we buried her, and it was good. He handled it very well. But then my former pastor, he's, you know, an elder, and he came up to us at the graveside, you know, as people were walking through, and I typically, like, I don't really cry a whole lot, not in public as much, normally more in private, and then you can tell always after, like, my face will be, you know, all red, and people will be like, are you okay? But normally I don't, the actual tears, you know, you don't see as much or as many, maybe a handful, but, and really same thing with, at the graveside, I didn't really cry. I even, like, I shared just a little something. I didn't cry during that, you know, and I think that was partly why, it's just because my adrenaline was running. But then, you know, there's different moments that, you know, I teared up and everything. But then the moment that got me the worst was when that former pastor, he came up, he said, well, something along the lines of, there's a song, and he said, that city where the roses never fade. And, you know, and that's, you know, if you read the Bible, you know how the story ends, and you know that we're all those who are in the Lord, you know that there's going to be a city where the roses never fade, and I'm going to see my Eliana Rose again, and I'm looking forward to that day, and I'm glad I have hope in Jesus Christ.